Hello and welcome to today's All About series. I'm carrying on with my All About videos, trying to give you the information that you need and you want about some of the services that I offer. And today it's all about birth doula services. So the first question is probably, what is a birth doula? And it's a completely valid question. Among some other communities and cultures, you may know it as a traditional birth attendant, a birth keeper, birth support worker, and all of those are correct. I use the term doula because I don't have any sort of indigenous or native heritage that I feel I'm able to call myself a birth keeper, as much as I love that term. I think it's really, really beautiful. So a doula sits easier with me and my culture and my upbringing. And a birth doula, in simple terms, or the tagline that you may hear, is that we give you emotional, physical, and informational support. And that, of course, is true, but that's not always very tangible. So what does that mean for you and your family? Well, if we break it down, the emotional support, so reassurance, encouragement, it can include some techniques such as positive self-talk, positive talk, by which I mean you're replacing all the negative self-talk, perhaps limiting fears and emotions that you may have, and also limiting the negative narrative that you hear around you and from society when you're going into birth. Because let's face it, when you are looking down that birth journey and you've got that estimated due date in your mind, which everybody has, no matter how hard we try, that date is always there. People seem to feel it necessary to share their stories with you, and more often than not, their negative birth stories with you. And nobody needs to hear a negative story when they are facing that very same journey themselves. Because everybody's journey is unique. Everybody's birth journey is unique. And whilst everybody's birth story is also unique and valid, it's not something that you need to hear when you are on that journey yourself. So that's one of the big pieces of the emotional support that I feel is important for me to give as a doula. Physical support includes things like encouraging active birth as much as possible. Even if you've chosen or choose an epidural during your birth, there are still ways we can encourage active birth, because we know that that helps improve the opening of the cervix and can help to shorten birth times, because we're using gravity in our favor. We're using the relaxation of our muscles to allow our body to open and to do the work by itself with the baby, in unison, journeying through it together, because the baby is also part of the birth process. And then informational support, so making sure you've got the best, most up-to-date evidence-based research so that you can make informed decisions. I can help you advocate for yourself by giving you that advice and making those suggestions so that you can then make a decision based on the best evidence, best practice, and also anecdotes from other people and their birth experiences. So that sort of qualitative research that doesn't necessarily always make it into the scientific journals, but that is really, really important, because birth experience and experiential, iterative stories are just as valid and should hold as much weight as the double-blind peer review. Another question I get asked as a birth doula is, why are birth doulas so expensive? And whilst I recognize that it is a big investment, I truly do, and I'm sympathetic to all income bases, from those who perhaps need a barrier-free doula fee, to those who are perhaps in a position where they could even donate a doula service to somebody else, which is a beautiful gift to be able to give. It also may, and that's a big MAY in capital letters, be covered by your insurance policy, which of course is amazing if it is, because that's one element out of the decision that you then don't really have to think about. But one of the reasons that the fee sort of ranges from where it is for a number of reasons. Experience. For myself, I have a lot of experience. I'm a former midwife. I'm a holistic massage therapist. I'm a yoga teacher. I teach infant massage. I come with a lot of knowledge and a broad skill base. But it's also to do with things that we factor into it, like the amount of time that we're going to spend with you. So we normally see you 1 or 2 visits before the birth, and then we give you continuous birth support in labor, and that includes being on call for 5 weeks. So that means, you can text us anytime, you can call me anytime. I will come in the middle of the night and I will stay with you until your birth is complete, and then for around an hour afterwards. And then I'll come and also visit you at home a week or so after the birth, just to see how you're all settling in, give you some support with breastfeeding. And there's other factors such as my own childcare arrangements that I have to arrange, transportation, and paying myself a living wage, because I also have a family and I need to support them too. So that's just an idea of what goes into the fee and the pricing as to why you might be curious as to the cost of a doula. It's a really, really important thing for a birthing person to have continuous support in labor, and particularly continuous female support in labor has been shown to improve the experience of birth for the birthing person, and also has been shown to shorten your labor time by approximately 40 minutes, which doesn't sound huge in the grand scheme of things, but 40 minutes is 40 minutes, and that is important. For those of us who live away from our extended family, it's also really nice to have another pair of hands around, or maybe even we're the only pair of hands around if you don't have a partner with you during your birthing time, to give you that support and be that best friend, that confidant, that trusted person that you bring into your birth space. And I treat that as an honor for every family that I work with. So if you're curious to know a little bit more, you'd perhaps like to have a chat with me on a one-to-one basis, then please reach out through any of the normal media channels, email, Instagram, Facebook, Messenger, regular old text, or even we could have a phone call, Zoom call, all of the above are possible. And then we can always arrange a free, no-charge meet and greet where I get to come and meet you and your family in person. And then we can go from there. So if you're curious and you'd love to know more, I would love to chat more with you about it. So please reach out. That's all for now. Bye-bye.